Welcome back to the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased except ours. I'm Colin.
I'm Craig.
And I'm Mayor Fisk.
So we just finished watching Daredevil Born Again on Disney Plus. This is concluding our 3-episode run on this program of covering Daredevil. I don't think anytime soon we'll be covering Netflix Daredevil seasons 2 or 3 or The Defenders. I don't think that's ever going to happen. So let's just dive right into Daredevil Born Again, which came out in March of this year. Gentlemen, Craig, Daniel, what did you think of Daredevil Born Again?
So I actually finished the season pretty early. Normally when we have our episodes, I usually not to wait till the last second, but I usually it doesn't matter. I finished this pretty early, so a lot of time to reflect on it.
Oh.
And after I finished watching the first season, I'm like, that was okay. You know, it had I liked Charlie Cox's Daredevil. I liked a lot of I liked thinking of the Netflix show.
Mm-hmm.
But as I spent more time thinking about the show, I liked it a lot less. So it's not a good sign, I guess.
Daniel, what did you think? Because Daniel, you saw it first out of all of us.
Initially, I thought it was okay. I thought, like Craig, excited to see Charlie Cox back and Mr. Fisk.
Mayor.
But looking back, a lot of it, I didn't like it. A lot of things felt rushed. But I think the more I think back on it, like Craig, a lot more I find wrong with the show.
Okay. Well, first things first, there's going to be spoilers littered through this. Not that anyone cares or they do care.
Hey, we got 100 subscribers.
This is true. So it's a part 1 of 2, because I think last week Daniel mentioned that I think it's 8 episodes that are being included in season 2, which is going to come out next year. I think I looked at this today. I think it's
8, 9 doesn't matter.
Yeah, but
originally they were going to do one season of 18.
They split it. So this kind of ends not on a cliffhanger, but it doesn't have a definitive end. And there's a lot of things that I thought were really stupid in this series, or at least in the Born Again series. And I thought it was okay. My biggest thing that I thought was the dumbest thing possible was Wilson Fisk being mayor. I thought that was so dumb.
So apparently it's actually based off a comic that happened recently, where he actually did become mayor. And actually a lot of it was pulled from that comic, but we'll get to that.
Really? Okay. I had something spoiled for me before I even saw anything. I saw on YouTube, as soon as that first episode came out, Foggy dies within the first 5 minutes of the episode, and that kind of what sets off this whole season, where Matt disappears for a year as Daredevil, and now he's back with some other annoying law firm partner. And I thought the most interesting part of the season was the Muse, and him solving, or trying to get to the bottom of that killer.
Yeah.
I thought that was probably the best part.
I agree with that. Looking back now, I have a problem with. I think that ended way too abruptly.
Yes,
that should have been stretched way more out. That should have been an overarching thing.
Because when I was watching it, with these Marvel shows and movies, you can kind of tell where they're going to go. But with the Muse thing, I didn't know if that was a character or not. I'm thinking, where's this going to go? This is kind of cool. And then, it happens abruptly. Matt's new therapist girlfriend just shoots him to death, and he dies. Way too abruptly.
I thought that should have been the overarching story, the main villain. Because I think Fisk, you don't necessarily have to have him go automatically back to his evil ways. You knew he was, but I was much more interested with Muse than I was with him and Fisk kind of playing this chess game of trying to keep the other limited out of their true nature. And I felt Punisher was shoehorned in for fan service because he appears. I was fine with his first cameo, Matt kind of going back to him, and then you forget he was there, and then he just comes in for the last episode and then gets arrested, and then they show he's going to break out again. I know Disney did that because Punisher was successful.
Be a TV special.
Yeah, it was successful. It was probably the most successful behind Daredevil on Netflix. So I understand Disney bringing him back because a lot of fans felt he did the character justice. My biggest gripe was the Muse being cut way too short. That should have been the main focus, or more of the focus in the season.
Yeah, I mean, I was fine with it being introduced in the second half, but yeah, it should have gone to the end instead of him just getting gunned down to death. Now, I have some questions, because I saw season 1, and I did not see season 2 or 3, so there's a lot that I have to assume that obviously at some point Wilson Fisk knows who Daredevil is, he knows Matt Murdock, because they have that scene in the diner where Daredevil says, "I will come after you if you step out of line." It's kind of amusing, but Was that what, season 3? And why doesn't
It started in season 2 where I think Fisk suspected because that's when he visited him in jail. I don't know if you ever saw that scene where he basically beats up a blind lawyer. Matt punches him back, and then
Yeah.
he kind of got a look. We're like, huh.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt that punch before.
Yeah, then season 3, he knows his identity. He
So
tries to ruin
why
him.
doesn't Fisk do anything?
So at the end of season 3, came to an agreement. Matt Murdock would back off, trying to go after his wife, getting her deported, and he would back off, trying to ruin his life, Foggy's life, and Karen's life. So they kind of had a truce with each other.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense because
Yeah.
they're talking kind of cordially but passive aggressively too. So I mean, I could pick up on that. That obviously he knew. Who's Cherry? Is he a new character? Or was he?
He's completely new. I thought the same thing. That
Oh.
Yeah.
Season
Oh, okay.
3. He's all of a sudden like Matt Murdock's best friend. Like, who is this guy?
He says Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, really.
Okay, I was assuming he was in season 2 or 3, so that's a little bizarre that they added this random guy in. Because it's not like you can use Ben Urich. He's been dead for, what, canonically 10 years?
What
What year
about Brett
does it-
Mahoney?
Who?
Yeah, Mahoney. He was the cop, the detective that hit Foggy and Matt were getting insight on cases
Oh,
in the first
yes,
season.
yes.
And Mahoney was he was with them throughout the entire show.
Okay.
So bringing him back would have felt much better.
Then this
This
Cherry
guy
that
felt
shows up.
like he felt like a knockoff of the Gordon take from the Batman with Pattinson.
Right.
I was going to say, there's got to be a term for this, like new toy syndrome or something, where new writers come in and they want to feel like I got to kill off everybody. No Karen, no Foggy. Let me have my new characters in the show, and they weren't that great. In fact,
Even
you could
though-
say they're pretty
yeah.
boring.
Even though you get a more annoying Ben Urich and his niece, and then you get
Yeah,
not as connected
I
Mahoney.
hated that so much. The constant cutting between her on the streets report, which is
I
something
hated
you
that,
see
yeah.
out of like a Vox YouTube channel. I was thinking about the beginning of Jurassic World Dominion, the critically acclaimed film, where they're showing dinosaurs connected with human life. It was just that
I
kind of
remember that.
hacky amateur news footage, like something you'd see on YouTube Reels or something.
Oh yeah, did they show like the Mosasaurus swimming with humpbacks?
Yeah, they showed this car.
like a
I
Nat
remember-
Geo.
Yeah, they show a car driving on this California range, and then these bunch of dinosaurs are in the way, and this car flies off. It was like a dash cam. So they have Tony Soprano's son, a Tone. They have, what's his name? I was about to say Michael Imperioli, but it's definitely not that. Michael...
So it goes with Blake.
No, what's the kid's... I forget the Tony Soprano's actor's name.
Gandolfini.
Yeah, Michael Gandolfini. Yeah. So he's in this, and it was okay. They introduced a lot of new people, and like Craig said, they're not memorable at all. They're just kind of...
They want to play with my new toys.
Yeah,
I don't
they're
care
just
about
kinda
the Netflix
there.
Toys.
Yeah, because I thought this season should have been not necessarily as much focused on Matt and Fisk coming back together or being as connected. I think that's something you could carry over into season 2. I think you could have had Matt focus on defending. I think you could have had the Hector, what was his last name? The White
Ayala.
Tiger.
Yeah.
Ayala. You could have had his court case kind of drawn out more, where Matt's focusing on back to being a lawyer and dealing with a vigilante. And then also you have Muse in the background, where Matt is kind of trying to race against this other vigilante and has to become Daredevil again to stop Muse. I think that would have been a much better focus for that, as opposed to trying to connect Fisk and Matt again at the end. They're always going to be connected. I think it would have been better since Matt is coming out of retirement, which, Craig, I don't know if you felt the same way, but after season 3, this kind of felt a little bit like season 3, where he was done with it and then he has to come back out.
Well, I was going to say, the Born Again storyline was adapted in season 3, where he kind of loses his faith. He's deciding what to do with his life.
Yeah.
Then at the end of season 3, he rediscovers himself. He has balance. He can be the vigilante. He can be the lawyer. He's got his friends back in his life. He can be a complete person again.
Yeah.
And this, does away within the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't personally mind that they killed Foggy because it kind of set everything in motion. I mean, again, I only seen one season of the guy. I thought he was kind of annoying. But
Well, I didn't like it
understand
because...
Yeah. Maybe they should have killed Karen. I don't know.
Well, it was done for shock value. It was
Yeah.
done for new toys. I can't have the previous character. I have to have my great character, Cherry.
Could you imagine the guy who's playing Foggy? Oh boy, they're rebooting. Or they're continuing that Daredevil. I die in the first 5 pages and I don't come back again.
I mean, yeah, it's... 'cause even Karen got to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was in 2-3 episodes, I think. She was in the first 2, maybe, and then she appeared.
Which I saw some people were were curious if they were going to follow through directly with the Born Again comic storyline for her.
Well, they did that in season 3 already.
No, but
What,
not
she goes
to
on
the
a
full,
killing rampage?
No, not to the full
No.
extent though. But in the comics, she goes out to L.A., becomes an actress, and then because even I remember reading in Ghost Rider comics, she even met with Blaze because he was out West Coast. But then she fails at becoming an actress, I believe, and then she becomes a drug addict.
Oh.
And Matt has to kind of bring her back to life. So it was a much more intense storyline in the comic run. So people were speculating that when they threw on Born Again as the title. And she did go out west and then came back. So
She looked clean, I guess, unless she's hiding her wrists and her...
Well, they referenced it in the Netflix season 3 because she got mentioning she had like a dark past. She was just like, it's been a while since I've seen season 3, but she was just a party girl in college. I think she did drugs once.
Yeah, and then
her brother died.
She was on drugs, got into a car accident, and got her brother killed, and then it distanced her from her family and everything. That's why she came to New York.
I can kind of see why. Yeah, that makes sense.
But
it just they were kind of adapting that already, so that's why I don't like them using Born Again.
Derivative.
Already did it.
Yeah.
I did not like Fisk having that guy caged instead of just killing him right away.
That was funny.
Yeah, that was barbaric. Speaking of barbaric, what he did to the Commissioner Gallo, right? They show him essentially tear off his jaw. Oh my god!
He's trying to squeeze his head like a pimple.
Yeah, I was like, oh my
like
god,
Jason.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Another thing, especially you don't see Matt get beat up in his fights as gruesomely as he did in season 1.
You'd hope not, right? I mean,
on some of the other fights.
Well, he's not wearing his Under Armour. He has an actual suit. And this suit does look better than the publicity stills I saw that I put in the video of our Netflix one. It's definitely the lighting, because I guess they toned down the lighting in post, so that's why it's so bright. Because imagine if it was dark and then you darken everything, you wouldn't see the red. I just don't like the black accent still on the suit.
Yeah, I don't care.
I still don't like it. And he needs a DD on his chest. Even the Ben Affleck suit got that right. He needs a DD.
Columns upstanding for Batman.
They even lit fire in a subway station.
Yeah,
Dareflick, yes. I wanted to say, I kind of wish we had a slight recap of what our characters were doing, because after Daredevil season 3, so much happened.
Defenders,
not so much.
He's in She-Hulk.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, there was the She-Hulk stuff. I think
Echo.
Foggy appeared in. Yeah, there's Echo. Kingpin appeared in the Hawkeye TV show.
That's
with
right.
The Swordsman. And I think Foggy appeared in, was it Luke Cage season 2, and Karen appeared in both Daredevil or Punisher seasons.
Kingpin technically die or thought he got killed in Echo or one of those shows?
I thought it was Hawkeye. Someone shot Kingpin. That's why he has the scar on his face. Someone shot Kingpin in the face.
Well, he survived.
Because when they were in those therapy sessions with him and Vanessa, they were talking about, he was like, I was away for a bit. Something like that. And I think it was in reference to Hawkeye or Echo, one of those shows.
No, yeah, I think I got it now. Kingpin, I think he only appeared in Hawkeye. I guess don't quote me on that, but...
I thought it was Echo, because didn't he train somebody in Echo?
Yeah, because Daredevil was also in Echo, too.
He said he trained somebody in the season.
Yeah, you guys are right. He did appear in Echo.
Yeah, because I was thinking, the way this was ending, I honestly thought that Bullseye, who, I don't know how that guy is still alive. That guy should have died.
Bullseye.
He was thrown off face first, 3 stories, 4 stories in the air. You're dead.
I kind of like Bullseye.
He doesn't have his adamantium, so he would be a dead man.
I don't care. I like Bullseye. I'm happy he's alive.
Really?
Well, this version of Bullseye, it's so silly. Like, he just keeps throwing stuff, and it's super accurate. In the first fight scene, Daredevil has like 20 things in his chest. And
Yeah.
I did like how he broke out shooting his own tooth and killing them with it.
Yeah, that was cartoony.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know. His powers are just kind of silly to the point where I love it. He's just superhumanly accurate to a degree that's absurd.
Well, I mean, what else is he gonna really? I mean, that's his name, Bullseye.
Which, speaking of that first
It's not
fight
professional
scene,
driver.
Speaking of that first fight scene, the CGI they used in it.
It was terrible.
Yeah, they should have just done practical the whole time. I understand CGIing the objects getting thrown into Daredevil. I get that.
It was
but
the smoke too.
The smoke, it was
The
very
lights
dark.
off.
Daredevil swinging in like Spider-Man, which was...
So did they
he does
introduce
in the
that
comics.
aspect in the Netflix ones, or this is brand new where he can swing around?
No, in the Netflix
I think they did
one,
it in... Was it not Hawkeye? Was it...
Not in the Netflix ones.
Was it
This
She-Hulk
was
he started swinging around?
This was a Disney added this to him because
Yeah, I can understand. You're about to say it's in the comics. I know,
Yeah.
but It was also in the Affleck one, but it's entirely silly that he can. It's not like Spider-Man where they're strong enough, or if he could withstand the force of using it. I don't know. But Daredevil's just a guy. It looks silly.
I was just caught off guard because I hadn't seen that before. I
It
wasn't
looked
used to it
better
from
than the
Netflix
Affleck
ones.
one because the Affleck one was using it in unnatural ways. At least this one looked a little better,
But
which
I
should
still did not.
should be granted. 22 years later.
I still did not like the CGI blend into the fights.
Oh, it looked terrible. It was disgusting. I'm sure I can find the clip on YouTube. But yeah, it was just CGI smoke everywhere. The lights were off.
Yeah. Especially, it was more shocking considering Daredevil had one of the better choreography, well, easily the best out of the Defender shows. But for a Marvel production, I thought it definitely had maybe the best fight choreography. So it was more jarring to see them all of a sudden now a CGI Daredevil in a bar when you could easily just have two stunt doubles going at it.
I mean, that could be a result of, I know this had a very troubled production.
Well, yeah, so from what I remember for reading, that they were originally going to go with a more lighter tone, but then Marvel had a creative overhaul during the strike. And I don't know if they filmed anything, but they probably had everything ready to go. And
They just filmed some stuff.
They did, okay.
They said they salvaged some episodes with reshooting it to kind of maybe reframe stuff.
Oh, okay.
I think the first episode was largely the same, but they added stuff like Foggy's death.
Oh, okay.
Well, they were going to kill Foggy off screen.
Oh, wow. That's...
by the way, Foggy got assassinated. Sorry, guys.
Oh, wow. That's terrible. Well, I guess in hindsight...
That's why when I say new toy syndrome, these writers are the epitome of that.
Well, they fired the original writers who wanted a lighter tone, and they brought in new ones. And what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So they had a entire creative overhaul, and then they filmed... It was supposed to be like 20 seasons, or not 20 seasons, 20 episodes, but then they cut it down to 17, and they split into 2 seasons. It's a miracle it's kind of okay this season. I know, Craig, you said you don't really like it, but on the surface level, at least it isn't a disaster.
Oh, yeah.
Like She-Hulk.
Oh, yeah. We're always going to climb on that, but...
Yeah. Or even like the Captain America movie where they reshot a lot of things and that was a disaster. It's kind of a miracle.
If you get me to we go to the individual episodes, I could maybe explain some of the stuff that I thought was kind of dumb, which kind of ruins some of my enjoyment for it.
Let me just, before we dive into episodes individually, let me just think if there's anything else I want to say broadly. Let me see.
I have one thing to say.
Yes.
The new love interest was terrible.
I felt forced. I did see people were saying that Matt, when he was trying to barter down that one guy's sentence with that one girl, the chemistry between them was so much better than the chemistry he had with, I forget, Heather?
He rizzed her up.
Yeah, he had so much more chemistry with that actress and that person than Heather.
It got to the point where towards the end of the show, where I guess they're in the process of breaking up, like, were they ever together? This was like the most awkward relationship I've ever seen. I think I've seen high schoolers with more chemistry or middle schoolers with more chemistry. Like, when you're really awkward when you're young.
What middle schoolers are you watching?
You know what I'm trying to say? When you're awkward when you're young, it seems like they didn't know how to interact with each other that well.
Maybe she didn't know how to talk to a blind guy.
Yeah, maybe she's blind phobic or whatever term they use.
So let's go through all the episodes 1 through 9. And Craig, you can go off and say what you liked and didn't like, or you can at least emphasize the stuff you really hated. In each episode.
Well, first episode we kind of covered. I hate the fact they killed Foggy. I think it's petty. I think it's childish on the writer's part. But basically, Kingpin becomes mayor. Blah blah blah.
That was dumb.
Second episode, the white. That was basically starting the white tiger.
Can I just interrupt you for one quick second? I remember what I was going to say. I thought at the end that Kingpin was going to die because I don't know what to expect. I don't know. But then I was thinking in the back of my head, how many times they're gonna fake kill this guy, or either do it or don't. No more dancing around that. Oh, he might die. Ooh, I'm getting sick of it. Either kill him or don't. Stop with the fake outs. All right, continue, Craig, with episode 2.
Yeah, that's when the White Tiger trial starts. And
I thought it was good. The trial. Sorry.
Yeah, for the most part, it wasn't bad. I did think it was funny when the cops tried to assassinate a blind lawyer in the apartment.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's a TV show, but that's incredibly extreme. Like, you're actually going to assassinate a blind lawyer? Yeah, I think this goes into the next episode where they try to threaten Matt Murdock, saying, we're going to try to get you to this bar. I'm like, yeah, who's going to believe you got beaten up by a blind lawyer? Good luck with that. But that I didn't mind. Episode 3, Hector gets off. I thought the trial was mostly well done. I thought it was dumb for Murdoch not to try to play up his vigilantism. I think that would have helped more than hurt. Obviously, it helped. Mm-hmm. Like, I remember when he's saying, it could bias the jury. Like, wouldn't that make more sense? Like, he's obviously trying to help people. He's not just randomly attacking cops in the subway.
I did think the ending of the episode sucked. They just killed him after all that. I thought they could have let him live out a couple more episodes before he possibly gets killed.
Well, also, I mean, dude, you get off on life in prison for killing a cop, and then the first thing you do is to go back being a vigilante. How dumb are you? Like, I have trouble feeling bad for the guy.
Yeah. And that was such a stupid fake away with making it Punisher killed him. Come on, that was dumb.
Yeah, no one I don't think bought that. That was obviously a cop, but for the most part, okay. Season episode 4, I actually loved the idiotic criminal.
Oh yeah.
I know a lot of people seem to hate him because he's ungrateful, blah 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 blah. But I thought he was the most realistic criminal I've ever seen in the TV show. Incredibly stupid, incredibly ungrateful, always asking for something he knows he can't get, but will always try to say, "Oh, it's the system, keep me down." Like they go on his huge rap sheet, like all the crimes he's committed. Oh, come on, it's just the system trying to keep me down. How am I supposed to get a job when I'm in jail all the time? It's like, well, stop stealing stuff.
Stop committing petty crime.
The best part too is he's like, "Oh, come on, you can't. How'd you know it was me?" It's like, we have you on camera. It was by far the most realistic criminal, and I don't think that was the point they were trying to make. I think they're trying to really make a statement about how the criminal justice system keeps people down, but I think they failed terribly.
Yeah, you can't use a guy who commits petty crime all the time, is in and out of jail, like a subway turnstile. Like, you can't.
Yeah, because he tried to. He tried to like, oh, it's the system, keep me down, and I don't think they meant for it, but I was laughing. I loved every second of it because you ever see body cam footage of cops where like they interrogate the criminals? They're the dumbest people alive, and it reminds you so much of that. They are just so stupid, it's perfect. It's a perfect representation of a criminal. Thank you for that.
If they wanted to get that point across, you have to have someone that is being unjustly persecuted by the legal system. You can't have a guy who's a poster boy of Mr. Crime Man who commits crimes on the regular and is in and out of jail. You can't do that.
Oh, I know.
Well, I know you know, Craig. The writers don't know. The writers are stupid.
Writers are dumb. And they unintentionally gave us the most realistic criminal ever.
Probably a bunch of like, high fives when they wrote that scene in the writer's room. Like, yeah.
We got him.
But in episode 4, I did love the Kingpin doing his mayor duties, and you saw like the kids singing terribly.
Oh yeah,
I forget what song they were singing, and then he goes to the Latvian day, and they're singing the exact same song, and you see his face like he wants to kill himself. I did like that.
What were they singing that song?
Well, there was some behind the scenes
New
thing
York or something like that.
That was We Built the City.
Yeah, they
we
said
built the city.
There were kids when they shot that. The kids were really singing well, so then they were singing too well. So they had to bring in more kids who were not good at singing, and then they mixed the audio.
Please tell me that happened.
That did happen. No, that actually
it did.
I saw because on like YouTube Reels, I saw that constantly shown. I had no idea what it was referencing, but yeah, that actually did happen. The original kids were singing too well. Those kids' work got dragged down by those untalented cretins. All right, Craig.
Actually, a great fact.
Craig, continue. You're on season 5.
So episode 5 is where it starts to get a little weird. It was basically a bank heist episode, and I feel like Daredevil isn't really meant for that.
I did not like that episode at all. That felt like such a filler episode.
Well, they wanted to mention Kamala Khan. I was honestly expecting her to show up and stretch and beat people up. But she's in Jersey City, though.
Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel?
What'd I say? Is her name Kamala Khan?
Yeah.
It is.
Well, and the dad, of course, I guess he's a proud dad, but he basically gives away her identity. Daredevil's doing the same thing. He's running around, not even trying to pretend to be Daredevil. He's like beating people up with his glasses on. It's like, dude, like there's no reason to have him be in a bank heist. I don't know. I find bank robberies very dumb in movies.
I'm not a bank expert, but I'm pretty sure at most banks, especially in banks in the city, no less, they're going to be armed guards. So I don't know. Seemed a little unrealistic to me, Craig.
Yeah, and I just think it felt like a filler episode, which is kind of weird because it's only 9 episodes. So I don't know.
Yeah, that episode could have been removed.
That episode could have been replaced with possibly more Muse stuff. Give that another episode. More crimes being committed by him. Build on that instead of a useless connection to Kamala Khan.
Well, also, it was all because when that trucker got killed, this was their way of trying to get the money to pay off the trucker debt. Couldn't you have something where, like, maybe they have, like, okay, they try to do something, like, they get stopped, and, like, maybe they escalate to the bank. The first thing they do is to go rob a bank. I mean, aren't they criminals? Should they be a little smarter about this? I don't know. I just think they could handle that differently. But I did make a note about how some guy in the bank said he is a Rangers, Jets, and Mets fan.
Yes.
I had to write that down because that is incredibly embarrassing. Why would you admit that in public?
Maybe
all 3 at once.
Maybe he was asking to be killed.
Well, if you needed to know, Craig, he's a New Yorker in New York. case you didn't know.
So episode 6, at some point, Hector's niece goes to Daredevil saying, "Why aren't you doing more to help?" And she's asking a blind lawyer, "Why aren't you doing more to help fight crime in the city?" Like, you could not be asking a more, I guess, useless person in that regard. Like, seriously, what's the blind man supposed to do about fighting crime? He's the most likely to be a victim.
And he's a
It's not-
lawyer, too. He can't... on the surface level, any lawyer should not be committing vigilante crime. You're asking a blind one, no less, to do something.
Yeah, it's not like he can see it.
Yeah. It would have been funny if
Did
you
you see
said...
anything?
It would have been funny if you just said, go right to your local lawmakers. I don't know what to do.
Well, that's actually the better response to that.
I know, I'm
If you
just saying,
crack
like,
down on law.
To get her out of his head. Go talk to lawmakers. Even though you're 12.
It was just really stupid. And then I thought it was kind of funny. They said Muse had 60 kills tied to him.
Yes.
It's kind of like a record for a serial killer, right?
I do not know my serial killer statistics.
Well, I figured you might know because you watch the most true crime stuff.
I do, but those are just people murdering like 2 or 3 people, not 60 and then draining their blood and mixing it and then using their blood as art.
Well, I just think 60 is such a large number in a short amount of time. Most, at least in the US, right? If you're going to get that kind of number, it's usually over the course of maybe a decade or two, not a month or a year.
Yeah.
I know you could say, well, it's New York City, a lot of crime happens, sure, but if Daredevil was able to put together pretty quickly that they all happened in the area of like one, I guess, shut down train track or subway track.
And he's
I
not a
think the cops
detective
gotta
either.
Yeah, I think the cops could have figured that one out pretty quickly.
I would have been laughing because I imagined Batman from the Arkham video games, how he would have handled that situation. He would just beat that guy to a pulp and then like throw him 20 feet and then the guy would be unconscious. Like, you know how in the game you'd have detective vision, just says unconscious, but his body would be bent like a pretzel. All right, Craig, episode 7, what do you got?
Oh, the therapist. I did not like her at all. And apparently she didn't catch on the fact that her patient was a serial killer, had some extreme problems for months. Like, apparently been going to for a while, and she didn't pick up on the fact this guy's like a serial killer, you know, whatever, some sort of mental deficiency she has, she couldn't pick up on it.
It's above her pay grade.
Apparently she's so important to the mayor, she's gonna be the commissioner of mental health or whatever.
Also, how did she get out of that murder charge? I know it's technically would have been...
Well, she is the personal therapist to Fisk, so I'm assuming that he was able to just brush away any kind of crime that might have come up, but he controls everything, essentially, so...
Well, they gave credit to the anti-vigilante task force, because that's it. No, Daredevil wasn't there.
Yeah.
His task force came in, shot the guy. So season 8, or not season 8, episode 8 is when it really starts to fall off the rails for a bit for me.
Do explain.
So apparently, the reason Bullseye assassinated Foggy is because Vanessa's behind everything. And I guess we kind of skipped over this too. Apparently, she was so good at being the kingpin that it was such harmony and such balance. They respected her and they feared her. And because she pulled away, all of a sudden the crime fell out of balance because she wasn't there to pull the strings. Like, these people are criminals. They're like animals. What do you think? You could control them better than the kingpin? I thought that was silly, but...
Yeah.
She killed Foggy, breaking their truce because Foggy was going to... There's some old charter saying that Red Hook was some international port, so, you know, you couldn't tax them, and there's, like, no crime in Redport, apparently.
Don't think that's true.
Yeah, I don't think that's true, and I think if that were the case, the city or the state government would say, yeah, sorry, no, that's part of the state, or part of the city. There's no free port. And there's so many things with that, too. Because the more I thought about the dumber it seemed, okay, say Foggy was killed, because she wanted to stop the motion being filed. Well, you just made a lot of publicity on that trial that Foggy was attached to. It doesn't stop motions from being filed either. Matt could have easily just filed it himself. Like, why would he just give up on the fight?
Good question. I don't know.
Well, because when someone dies, like a lawyer gets shot during a trial, you think that would attract more publicity to it, not less. It's not going to stop it from happening.
Yeah.
I don't know, and that's the whole reason why Foggy gets killed, because he was going to expose Vanessa's crimes, which is what they've done several times already, and now he gets killed.
Because he wanted to expose the unsanctioned island? Or well, it's a
There's
port.
a port
Yeah.
in Long Island, right?
I don't know where, but again, if it's attached to Long Island, it's not unsanctioned. I don't get it.
Well, they're saying some old charter from the 1600s means it's a free port or something. It's
Yeah,
stupid.
right.
That would have been amended. Come on.
Yeah, just imagine, oh, sorry guys, this port I'm building my massive real estate on, it's actually not part of the United States, and screw you.
Murder is actually legal here, and you can't stop me. You can't tax me.
And there was a line, I think, was it Vanessa? Or it was Vanessa and Kingpin talking, and they said, you moved millions. We can move billions. And I thought of Austin Powers when they said that.
Why make trillions when we could make billions?
Yeah, at that point at the season, it was souring.
It's
Yeah.
supposed to be some great reveal, like, oh, this is why the grand master plan of Vanessa and the Kingpins, why it's becoming mayor, why they're still doing the crime stuff, because they have this free city state to make tons of money, because some charter from the 1600s said they could do it. It's really stupid.
Yeah,
That's kind of why
I
it's soured
agree.
for me too. Like the whole motivation, the whole reason why he killed off Foggy, it was just dumb raiders. Personally, probably wrote that. I thought they were a genius.
They're patting themselves in the back. Like, yeah, we just killed him.
Yeah, and this is when the relationship with the therapist was breaking down. Like it was never really together to begin with, so I wasn't really surprised.
Do you want to go to episode 9?
Well, that was part of episode 9.
Oh, sorry.
Also, too, the ending was very abrupt and very much thrown together. All of a sudden, they bring back Karen to help Matt solve the case, and Punisher helps him fight the cops.
Then they blow up Matt's
out
apartment.
of the blue, and then they blow up the top of an apartment complex. And then also they throw back in to remind Karen might have a thing with Punisher and Matt still for whatever reason.
I mean,
I think they're leaving it open for future storylines. Oh, she could end up with the Punisher. She could end up with Daredevil. Who knows?
I was chuckling when every time the Punisher was getting hit, he was making that ridiculous sound. Whoa! Every time he was punching too, it sounded so goofy. Every time he threw a punch or he'd get hit.
Apparently Punisher has Iron Man's armor because he was taking tons of gunshots with his body armor.
No. Wait. No. Wait.
Who's fighting the cops? And they're shooting him. Like they're shooting him. I saw, like the little puffs of smoke that come off when they shoot him.
No, I think those are non-lethals. Those were, what's it called?
Rubber bullets?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't
know. No, Craig, those are rubber bullets because they didn't want to kill him. They wanted to bring him in.
Are you sure? Because
yes.
I thought he was taking actual bullets.
If they didn't want to kill him, they would have used actual bullets and they wouldn't interrogate him.
They could have used a taser too.
Well, yeah, that too, but... No, they were using rubber bullets, I'm pretty sure.
No, he did kill people because he said you killed some of my men.
No. They would have killed him if they weren't trying to bring him in, because they all surrounded him. He would not have gotten out, and they wouldn't have beaten him down. You see what I'm saying? When they surrounded him, they beat him up. I finished watching it today. They beat him up, and there was a bunch of guards on him. If they really wanted to kill him, they would have held him down and shot him in the back of the head.
Tragic suicide.
They didn't want to kill him. They wanted to bring him in, because then they tried convincing him to join their little weird task force.
There's a good chance you're right, but I don't know.
I watched this maybe 8 hours ago.
Well, I want to bring up the point too. People don't really have accurate guns in TV shows, so it could have been realistic gunshots, but I will defer to you for now.
I'm pretty sure it's rubber bullets, because...
Okay, we'll compromise. There's rubber bullets, and Batfleck, or Ben Devil was a terrible Daredevil.
Ben Devil? Who's that?
Ben Devil?
Oh, Ben Affleck. Oh,
yes.
Dareflick,
yes. He was terrible at acting. You have got to admit that now.
No, he was okay in that. He was probably one of the better parts of that movie. Everything else in that movie was bad.
But I'm not going to compromise. Then it's real bullets that he was taking.
Craig, it was not. They would have killed him. Craig, you're just wrong.
I'm willing to compromise.
Craig, you're wrong.
Like I said, I'm going to compromise.
Craig, you're just wrong. You're going to sound silly.
All right, well, if they weren't using actual bullets, that makes that tunnel scene so much easier to digest, because that felt like Dark Knight Rises, where they all had automatic guns and they were instead trying to charge him or hit him. No one was properly shooting
again,
him.
Like I said, they brought him in to interrogate him and ask him to join.
And then Fisk had that collection of all those people, like he was the collector.
Yeah. If they wanted to kill him, he would have never woken up, and then they started beating him up, and they would have never asked him to join their little group. I'm not going to say.
Well, I also felt that was so stupid that they capture him just for him to escape right away.
Well, the way he escaped too, like some guards like, "Hey, get a little closer." It's like, why would you get close to the violently, very dangerous, psychopath killer? Stay far away from his cage.
You should always have a sniper on that guy.
Or electrocute the fence so every time he tries to touch, he gets zapped.
I also felt that was incredibly stupid by Fisk to even keep him alive, because in season 2, he had Punisher come into prison and he had him kill essentially the Kingpin in the jail, and then he had the rest of the prisoners try to kill Punisher, and Punisher said if he saw Kingpin again, he would kill him. So I don't know why Kingpin would keep him alive.
Well, they don't. Even ignoring that, you keep the guy alive who is known to kill. Ignoring even that, this guy will kill. He's not Matt, or Matt will try his very best not to kill him. He doesn't really kill people. This guy will. So I don't know why you would keep that guy alive. Seems kind of silly.
Well, I guess you have to talk about the Punisher storyline with the cops using his symbol.
Yeah, I guess we could talk about it if you want. And if you
Well,
want.
Marvel is very, 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 very butthurt that certain people, I guess specifically cops or military veterans, use the symbol.
Oh, is this real life?
Yeah, real life. They
Oh,
are so
okay.
upset by it, which I don't really understand what the big deal is. It seems very weird, and their petulant man-childism took a turn where they're so mad that the Punisher uses the symbol that they end up killing off the Punisher and brought his wife back just to divorce him and yell at him about his evilness. This happened very recently.
In the
His wife,
comics?
yeah, in the comics, his wife came back from the dead and said, I was actually, the day that we got killed, I was going to divorce you because you're a terrible person. And since I'm divorcing you, I'm taking all your money. And the money that you do keep, I'm donating to charity. And I hate you. And I'm pregnant with another man's child. Screw you. I'm leaving.
Is that all
And
real?
yeah, you can find, I can send you the link after.
God, it sounds like a fanfic.
It's incredibly childish. Like, look, when I make fun of writers, it's because of stuff like this. They are the most like
I
petulant man
think,
children alive.
I think the comic book writers are probably the worst subhuman writers there are. They just
'Cause they
seem
keep
like
feeling the need
they can't take any criticism.
criticism, and they always gotta like work through their emotions through their comics and their characters because they can't deal with emotions like real people.
Yeah, they seem like
I'm going
bottom
through a
of the
divorce,
barrel.
so Thor's going to get divorced from Mjolnir.
It's essentially what happens. I don't know. They're just really upset with the military or any sort of veteran or cop using the symbol, and I don't see what the big deal is. You can't control everybody who uses your symbol. And, like again, the worst thing of the people using it is like a veteran puts like a patch on his shoulder. Like, is that really the big deal?
Would you rather have African pirates use it when they're taking over ships? Like,
Would you want Jeffrey Epstein using it?
wait. No, 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 no. Wait.
Keep it up, Craig. And when they do their Punisher spinoff, they'll include his dead wife saying that to him.
I can't imagine doing that in real life or like for TV show adaptation.
Let's do season 2 predictions real quick, unless you guys have anything else to say about season 1 as a whole.
I feel like season 2, a big prediction, Vanessa dies.
Yeah, I think, okay, so part of me wishes that Spider-Man would show up. I know he's not. It'd be a tonal clash for Tom Holland running around. Oh, hey, Mr. Murdoch! And just shows Kingpin rip someone's jaw off.
He's my lawyer.
Whoa,
whoops. Whoa, man! Did you use Stark technology?
Friday, censor that. Oh, no. Because if Spider-Man shows up, he would absolutely wreck everybody. He would come in there and he would turn the tides immediately. So they can't bring in someone like him.
All right, well, hold on. Toby's would. I don't know about this guy.
Well, any Spider-Man. They can lift a car, and if Spider-Man is having a bad day, he could just grab a car and throw it and take out like 10 of those people. And he can dodge the bullets. They probably try punching Spider-Man, they're going to hurt their hand.
Well, I would say that he would dodge the bullets, but he would have Stark suit making him dodge the bullets, because this one can't do anything on his
Friday,
own.
Activate kill mode! And like big cannons come out of the suit and just start gunning everyone down.
Turns into Optimus Prime just committing war crimes.
Friday! Give me his face.
I just picture the Iron Spider suit. Those extra limbs come out and pick a guy up and rip him in half. Whoa, man!
So that's what the inside of a human looks like. Do you think She-Hulk shows up too? That'd be crazy.
That would be disgusting.
I think they know in good conscience that they cannot bring back She-Hulk in any capacity.
Well, there are talks about bringing back the rest of the Defenders.
That's okay. That's fine.
Because it does come to a point. If he outlaws all the vigilantes in New York City, don't you think he would call up his superhero friends if they're trying to take back the city? It's like, hey guys, maybe we should get back together.
Because you know what this is, and what I did like about season 1 was that everything was kind of contained, but now it's getting a little ridiculous. We're trying to take over the city. Spider-Man would definitely show up.
Well, because now isn't this one takes place in Manhattan?
Yeah.
Not Hell's Kitchen. Is Hell's Kitchen?
It is in Manhattan.
It's in Manhattan.
It is in Manhattan?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Sorry.
Well, wonder what Kingsman's going to say when I know the Thunderbolts.
No, but they're not in Hell's Kitchen, right? This season they were not in Hell's Kitchen, were they?
They're in Manhattan.
Not really.
Yeah.
Just a different neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the boroughs. There's like Chelsea.
That's what I was. That's what I was. I was thinking of.
District.
I was thinking of the boroughs. I know Hell's Kitchen is not a borough, but I'm confused with boroughs. Sorry to all my New Yorkers out there.
Well, I was going to say, because Kingpin's the mayor now, what do you think his reaction is going to be when the Sentry takes over and destroys New York City?
What are you talking about?
Thunderbolts movie that's coming out. That's take place in Manhattan.
It does?
Well, yeah. Don't they show in like they're in Avengers Tower?
I've seen very little trailers of the Thunderbolts, if I'm being honest.
Maybe we should start doing our research.
Okay, well the point is, what is he gonna say? Like
Well,
he's no
hold on, Craig.
vigilantes.
Hold on, Craig. Thunderbolts with an asterisk.
Oh,
Okay.
all right, my bad.
It'll just be funny
Thunderbolts.
that, let's say,
Asterisk.
Vision's alive. He's back. Imagine he comes back to New York, the White Vision, and he just reaches into Fisk's chest and just rips his heart out.
Pretty violent.
With this, they're trying to build up to something big, but then when you have these big universes, you now have. I know we don't really like her, but there's Kamala Khan in Jersey City, which if there's non-U.S. listeners out there watching this, Jersey City, you can look at Manhattan. It's right across the Hudson River. So
Yeah.
she's going to join the fight, I'm assuming, too.
Oh God, please,
Especially
please.
if he's trying
I didn't
to
think about that.
take
Now
over
you
the
got me
city.
disgusted.
And then She-Hulk is in New York, I think. Everybody's in New York.
No
So
way. No. I refuse to believe that.
I don't know what to think. I think it's going to end in kind of a cringy way. I don't know if season 2 will be the last. I don't know if there's going to be a season 3.
Well, that was one of the things looking back on the season, and comparing it to the Netflix season 1. Netflix season 1 felt like a complete story. It felt contained. This season did not, it felt like they did a lot, but not at the same time. Nothing felt complete or finished. And the things that they did try to finish felt rushed. I felt like season 1 of Netflix, every episode was contained. It was a complete story to a bigger story. This it felt like, I don't know. Unless you guys felt the same way. It just felt like everything was kind of incomplete without each other.
It felt like almost
each
nothing
episode,
happened, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
After he becomes the mayor, that's kind of where we're at. We knew he was going to become bad. We knew he was going to do bad stuff. And essentially, you could have had 2 episodes where, okay, he becomes the mayor. In the last episode, he's abusing his mayor position. Like, wow, what a shock.
This season would have been much better if you take Fisk out of his role as mayor. You have him, his whole story or his arc could be running for mayor. So he's doing that, and then Daredevil's now defending vigilantes and then trying not to become one, but he has to stop Muse. I think that would have been a much better arc for this season and a focus, as opposed to having them immediately connected with him being Fisk, and then they're sitting down at the thing.
The thing also is, not the season probably shouldn't be him running for mayor, but you don't introduce that in the first episode or 2, and he's immediately elected mayor. Maybe the second half of the season, he finally gets elected mayor after he's running. It seems like this guy decided one day to run for mayor, and then the next day he gets elected. There was no indication of time passing, really, besides the 1 year we got after Foggy died.
Well, I remember Daredevil was surprised he was even running for mayor. It's like, how are you that shocked? Don't you keep tabs on this guy?
Yeah.
He's like, he's surprised that he won. It's like, he won. Well, yeah. People like them. Were you not keeping track of this?
This dude got put in prison and then started running the prison.
I mean, I do question the logic of, I guess, New Yorkers in the Marvel universe have never been smart. I mean, people always talk about, oh, how could you elect like a bad guy? You know, how could you elect the guy who was a crime boss for decades? Like he was still a crime boss, like even after he got put away several times. Like it seems almost silly electing this guy.
That's what I didn't like about it. It seemed like a reach that he could.
Like that storyline from DC where Lex Luthor becomes the president.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Except, I mean, I don't know anything about Lex Luthor really besides him throwing down the cards. I know nothing about Lex Luthor, but I know he's a bad guy. But does he get his hands dirty like Kingpin?
Oh, he's so much worse.
Lex Luthor is? I don't know. That's all I'm asking.
Well, when you say get his hands dirty, like, does he actually personally kill people? But he's responsible for a lot more destruction and death.
Yeah. Isn't Lex Luthor one of the smartest comic book characters ever, too?
Well, at least in DC.
Well, I stand corrected. But yeah, it's a stretch. You have this guy who is a murderous crime boss, and he becomes the mayor.
Yeah, and it was based off this recent comic
Yeah.
where he becomes the mayor and he does the outlaw superheroes, tries to get them arrested, but doing it in the Marvel comic universe, trying to arrest Iron Man and Captain America and all these other people, it's in the Fantastic Four, it's a little more ridiculous. So
oh yeah,
at the very least, this feels like a better
superhero is in New York in the in the comics.
Yeah, trying to arrest
Black
everybody,
Panther.
it's just ridiculous.
Thor, put down the hammer, please.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, it just the plan is silly to outlaw all these vigilantes when there's so many of them there. I don't know. It felt silly.
I think they could have taken the vigilante thing, and that could have been his platform to run on. If you build his campaign, he could build it on cleaning up the streets from vigilantes. He sees this guy like Muse, and he gets the idea, okay, I can I can use this to my advantage. That would have been better build up, but it did feel so abrupt that all of a sudden, oh yeah, you remember him from this season? Now he's mayor.
Well, yeah, and you could have had it where, vigilantes like the Punisher, he takes it too far. We need to rein these people in. Have examples of vigilantes who maybe go too far to maybe show that his side of the argument is actually a good idea. Not obviously it's
the only
going to
one
be
especially-
they point to is the Punisher for going too far. All the other ones have a moral compass, at least.
But the Punisher's been
Well,
out of
you know what I mean.
commission. He'd been out of commission for some time.
Don't
and
forget, there's
Daredevil
Kate Bishop too in New York City.
because what
She's still
Daredevil
there?
Daredevil was retired for
I
a
think
year.
so.
The only one that was actively running around New York, it seemed, was the White Tiger, and then Muse was the serial killer. That was about it. Who the vigilantes seem like a bigger problem, but yet we don't recognize this guy who has 60 kills in a year, who's going for all-time records. Not a problem.
She-Hulk is in New York.
No way. I refuse
Kamala
to
Khan is in Jersey City. Spider-Man's in Queens.
No, there's no way She-Hulk took place in New York. She looked like they filmed in California.
Craig, they do that to keep costs low. You know how expensive it is to shut down.
Yeah, but
blocks?
even the
Craig, do you know how expensive it is to shoot a twerking video?
Was
But
that?
even
I
the-
could have sworn that was in New York. Was that not? Did she?
no, because remember they
I
had
don't
the
know.
influencers and stuff.
Craig, I don't know. But then why did Daredevil show up? Was he on vacation?
I don't know. I don't think they explained it.
All right, let me
That's what
look
I'm
at
going-
this.
That's what I'm going off of. Daredevil's there.
You know that he can catch a plane. Blind people can fly.
No,
On
they
planes.
can't. No, they can't.
I refuse to believe She-Hulk took place anywhere near
Well, I think
the MCU.
also. I
So
think
the law firm-
Spider-Man
the law
at the
firm
end
operated-
of the No Way Home. I think he is in Manhattan too.
Daredevil?
No, Spider-Man at the end of No Way Home.
Oh yeah.
So-
I
yeah.
think he's
So I
in
think he-
Manhattan. He's not in Queens anymore.
You both might be right because it says the law
No.
firm.
Yeah.
The law firm, which is Goodman, Lieber, Kurtzberg, and Holloway, operated in New York and L.A.
Aha.
Yeah, but she mainly took place in LA.
But she came to New York. And she's friends with Daredevil, so all Daredevil's got to do is get on his blind phone and then call her.
I'm gonna say Colin's wrong just because I can't
What?
be wrong. Okay, no,
It's like that
in
meme, I'm
LA.
gonna
I looked
say
up
this
Colin.
guy
It's
is
in
wrong.
LA. It's in
'Cause
LA.
then I'll be wrong, and I don't like that.
Oh, like that from, was that the Tumblr game?
Yeah, it was just some
Life
game.
is Strange. So yes, she's from LA. She went to UCLA.
Oh,
She
you're
worked
a
for the LA
clown.
County District DA's office, and then that law firm is in LA. She's in LA, far away from Daredevil. She can't hurt
So-
him.
Fine, Kamala Khan will show up, and then she'll stretch around and punch people.
That's fine.
She'll stretch
She
over
can't,
the
she can't
Hudson.
twerk on people. That's all that matters.
That's true. Do you think they'll have the scrote to kill off Kingpin in season 2?
Never.
No. He's the Joker. They can't kill him off.
He got shot in the face and survived. I mean, I don't know more
Oh,
they could do.
Echo. Echo's still in New York.
I thought she went back to Oklahoma.
I don't watch these shows. This is the first Disney Plus Marvel show I've watched.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree. I don't think I've seen one either.
Yeah, I never saw Hawkeye, never saw Winter Soldier and Falcon, or Echo, or Moon Knight. I never saw that. I never saw. God, there's so many of
Well,
these
wasn't-
shows. Loki.
Colin, I am right. Apparently, She-Hulk asks Daredevil when he's returning to Hell's Kitchen, meaning she is in LA.
All right, whatever.
God.
Maybe Daredevil can reach out to She-Hulk, and then She-Hulk reaches out to Hulk, and they all come to New York.
With Hulk's son.
On Kingpin's unconscious body.
That'd be really funny if all the superheroes team up on the Kingpin, and then this will happen season 2, episode 1, and they just kill him, and then the rest of the 8 episodes are just an hour of a black screen.
Like, imagine the ramifications of the superheroes deciding, hey, let's just go kill the mayor of New York City. Because technically, what he's doing is within his power.
I mean, yeah, technically. David, anything else to say about Daredevil Born Again? Season 1.
Well, you said
No.
people who you think's going to show up in season 2 besides the Defenders. You said
Real,
She-Hulk.
real,
But
no,
you're
that's,
wrong.
That's a joke. That was a joke, because I don't think they...
Kamala Khan could, I guess, show up.
Yeah, but the thing is that's in my mind is that you have to worry about the power scaling.
Oh, God. I'm just worried if they bring in Kamala Khan and Daredevil mentors her, kind of, because it's a tonal clash where she's the upbeat and he
Well,
is...
that's why you can't bring in
Martin.
Spider-Man. Because Spider-Man would wreck everything, too, if he shows up. He's too powerful for all those goons.
Yeah. But But also the problem, like, if he is running around, why don't they do something about it?
Well, we don't know what year this takes place in, so maybe there's some dumb excuse where at this point something else is happening. Because I'm going to be bold and assume that this doesn't take place in 2027, because that's where Captain America took place in 2027.
When
And
does Thunderbolts take place?
I have no idea. Maybe we'll find out, because that's going to be our next episode. Maybe we'll hear a tidbit of information.
Well, the reason I keep bringing that up is because the final fight takes place in New York City, I'm assuming.
So maybe it happens before this.
Well, I'm going to assume that Kingpin's in there. It's been pretty funny with, like, all that stuff going on. He's like, you can't do that. I'm going to have you arrested. Mr. Sentry, please stop causing damage.
I just picture his task force showing up trying to be all tough and just getting mowed down. Sentry just lasers them all. Oh, wait, did you ever see that clip of Homelander from The Boys where he just lasers the whole crowd? I just pictured that with the Sentry with all the cops.
That would be wonderful.
Anything else on Daredevil? Besides you guys not
Colin was wrong about She-Hulk.
Yeah,
I know more about She-Hulk. I'm so happy to know more about She-Hulk than you.
What a shameful thing to say.
I guess it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but it still was not good.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like I said, I just think the more I think about it, the worse I think it gets. And I think they really kneecapped themselves when they decided to kill off the cast and characters people liked with a bunch of no-names. Because we didn't even bring up his partner, Kirsten. No one cared about her. No one likes her. No one cares about her.
That's why we didn't bring her up. We don't care.
Well, we're supposed to. We're reviewing it, and she wasn't that important. We kind of forgot about her, and Sherry was the no-nonsense.
Well, we mentioned him, because we said, I thought he appeared earlier in the Daredevil lore, and I was very mistaken, because that's his first appearance.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to see Mahoney again. Makes the joke about them getting his mom cigars.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. Whatever.
I did have one thing that I looked up on the Marvel Wiki, which I don't think they referenced in the show, but at the end of season 3, they renamed their law firm to Murdoch, or Nelson and Murdoch and Page. Even though she's not a lawyer, they put her name on the...
Well, yeah, that was in the opening credits.
Yes, but what I did not know is that apparently at some point between the end of season 3 and this show, Karen went to law school and became an actual lawyer.
Oh, okay.
Which I think is kind of silly because her skills were not really being a lawyer. It's about being more of the investigator part of it.
She's also just secretary, too.
Well, yeah, but in the TV show, they made her more of the...
Yeah,
I don't know, the investigator, whoever.
Craig's favorite journalist.
Yeah. But I think it's kind of silly. They made her a lawyer as well. Just writers are dumb, I guess.
Ain't that the truth? These writers did not do a good job, really, but I guess we'll have to wait next year to see what happens in season 2. Sure, it's not going to be much better, but I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, one more thing, too, I guess.
Okay.
Do you know that was the swordsman, right?
Who?
Yep.
Lalo?
Who?
He was the guy...
That dude with the mustache.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yes. I saw
French
his name
dude,
on
right?
Wikipedia.
It's just
What was
weird
his
they had
name?
him of all people in the show. Because he appeared in the Hawkeye show, which I never saw, but I guess he's running around New York stabbing people with a sword.
Okay.
Wow.
So I think our next episode is definitely going to be the Thunderbolts. So in our Thunderbolts review, we'll mention if that movie mentions anything of Fisk being the mayor.
You know it's not going to.
Probably not, but we'll still say if it does, because that episode's not going to come out until in 2 weeks. But without any final thoughts, no, we already said it. You guys didn't like it.
Like I said, it's not the worst thing in the world. You know, it's no She-Hulk. It's
That's a low bar.
like I said, the more I thought about it, the more reflecting on it, I don't really like it as much. Yeah.
Yeah. I try not to get my hopes up, but seeing Daredevil again.
Yeah, disappointing. Not the worst, but disappointing. With all of that being said, this has been the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased except ours. I am Colin.
I'm Craig.
The Mayor Fisk.
He's back.
And we will see you next week.